From 1998 to 2008, the And1 Mixtape tour was one of the biggest spectacles that you could see. That includes like professional sports. The And1 Mixtape tour was one of those things that brings back so much nostalgia. It was one of the highlights of that era, the early 2000s, late 90s. You had rappers showing up to exhibitions. You had them going into professional arenas and playing. It was something to see. You even saw the likes of guys like the Professor, who you're seeing right now with his dribble moves. Him and Hot Sauce definitely had the greatest handles of that era, but I cannot mention enough players here. How about Ayo, Escalade, 50, Baby Shaq, Go Get It. I mean, there were so many guys, half man, half amazing, so many stars and so many legends of that era. Well, we go back to 2006, and And1 actually had a basketball game. This game was awesome. At the time, the graphics were great. I mean, that's just at that time. Obviously, it doesn't hold up today, but with emulators, it does look pretty decent. There were a lot of game modes here. You could go on the And1 Mixtape tour, pick up game. You could even go and create a baller, which we will dive into in a little bit. You can even create your own basketball move. So you could go in, create a player, create a baller, go on the Mixtape tour, and show off your own custom moves, which is awesome. I wish that was actually on NBA 2K today, where you can create your own dribble moves and your own combos. Yeah, you can kind of assign them, but kind of having your own taunting and all that stuff. I mean, you can kind of do it, but I wish they had it so you can actually, create real basketball moves, maybe with like a camera or something. I'm surprised they don't have that. We're talking almost 20 years later, this game is from the current day. So you look at create a baller, and actually this is pretty good for 2006, and a big argument can be made that the PS2 era had a ton of customization that maybe the current gen games do not have. And this was one of them. Create a baller. You can even choose your voice for the game. Not even in modern sports games can you choose a voice for custom players. That is awesome to me. And then you had attributes. You basically had an allotment of cash, and then you had to use that towards a specific template, or you could manually add them to ratings. You can also go to the store and kind of gear up your guys, so you can get them a haircut, you can get them tattoos, you can get them, a top, some shorts, pants, whatever you want to wear, which is kind of, reminiscent of, the park nowadays, or my park. And just looking at, just how much depth was in this game back in 2006, it's pretty awesome. And looking back on this was an awesome feature to kind of customize your guy. And this was kind of common in a lot of PS2 era games where you could go in and customize your guy to this amount of detail. Then you can go to the ink parlor, like I said, and give your guy some tattoos. This is what our guy's going to look like right now. We will play with him a little bit later and check out some of the other game modes. But it's kind of cool that you can go in here and customize your guy, give him some tattoos, give him some gear, and also give him some moves. So that's where we will get to next, create a move. And this was kind of a really big feature back then. And this game only had one iteration, just this one And1 game back in 2006. But it was pretty cool. So you can have a Showboat 1, Showboat 2, a finish, and a celebration. So looking at all of the customizations there, I like that off the charts one right there, kind of where you bounce the ball, it goes into your afro there, just kind of disappears. That's the neck flip, I should say, not the off the chains. But looking at the rest of the showboats, there's a lot of custom moves here, and we will just kind of skim through this a little bit, go a little faster, but you can kind of choose your, moves here to use in the game. But I wish in, modern day NBA 2K, you could actually do certain moves and, I don't know, mocap it somehow. I mean, we have smartphones nowadays. You can scan your face into the game. How do they not have it so you can literally do a dribble move and then have that go into the game as best as possible? That would kind of be awesome, but I guess that's not really the technology right now. So you could also go into a pickup game, which we will do here in this episode. You had to go on the And1 Mixtape tour to unlock all of the courts at certain times. As you can see, we only have certain courts available during the day, and then obviously prime time is at night. So as you unlock those courts, you get to unlock those at night. So we will go into a quick pickup game just to look at some gameplay here, and so you guys can check it out. But you can just see pickup kind of goes back and forth. Obviously, we had the first pick. We decided to draft the Professor and Hot Sauce on our team along with our custom guy. And then we decided to get half man, half amazing as well. Just so many And1 legends here in this game. And how about, who remembers Rafer Alston, Skip to My Lou, who made it to the NBA from the And1 Mixtape tour? He was in this game as well. We did not pick him, but we did select our 5, and we'll hop into the gameplay right now. So as you can see, this is with the PCSX2 emulator, and it actually looks pretty decent. Yeah, the graphics aren't the greatest from the PS2 era, but it actually looks pretty clear, to be honest. And if you have an emulator, I highly suggest you check this game out. And here are the game controls, and let's just talk about the gameplay. At the time, this actually played extremely well. Obviously now the physics and everything doesn't really measure up to today, but for a PS2 game, this isn't too bad. I mean, just look at, you know, just the movement. It doesn't look too bad, doesn't look too clunky. It actually looks kind of smooth. Here I was trying to figure out the controls, just threw up a layup right there with 50 with the bucket. And just a couple of gameplay things I want to talk about. So when you do play this game, you can see a meter, and then all of a sudden you see a basketball. It looks like a mic that lights up. Basically, it's kind of like a game breaker within NFL Street or NBA Street, where you kind of had a kind of super move that you can accomplish. And that's what you see here. As you get a full ankle breaker meter on the left, you get a free dribble move, then you get a shot at the hoop. But if you miss it, you lose all of those points. And if you make it, you gain all of those points. And then you eventually fill up the meter. And then when you get the meter, you can pull off one of these And1 Mixtape rewinds, which gives you a couple of dribble moves. It automatically breaks the ankles of the other team, and you get an unreal play where you actually get +5 added to your score. Instead of the traditional 2 or 3, you get +5 for pulling that off. So here later in the game, you can just see the gameplay is actually pretty fun. We pull off another one here towards the end of the game. This is with our creative guy, so it doesn't matter who you pull it off with, you still get the +5. He dunks on everybody. I don't think the ratings really matter, so if you have like 0 dunk, you probably still pull off a dunk. And we're up by 9 here at this point. And then late in the game, you can just see the physics here. We do block that shot. They get it back. Defensive rebound. Here we go in transition up to the Professor. I was trying to figure out how to dunk, but all I can do is layups. And that reverse layup right there. We end up winning this game by 12. And that ends up being this game. But it was a lot of fun. Like, this game actually plays really well. Holds up well. It's a lot of fun. Definitely a nostalgic style of game. Obviously, the physics, like I said, aren't there, but I think, you know, this game is pretty deep. So now we hop into the And1 Mixtape tour, and we will look at this very briefly, and let's just talk about it really quick. So you have to go through each city. So you have to beat each city's side games, go to the open run, you earn respect there, then you win the main run, and then you move it on to the next city. So you have to pretty much go through 3 steps: the side game, the open run, and then the main run in each city. And you can just see here, you have about, you know, 16 cities to go through, so it's gonna take some time to beat the game. But here, let's check out the story.
Z100, And1 is in town, and St. Mark's Park in Linden will be going off.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live, it's the And1 Mixtape Tour. You better have your A game, because we have the best street ballers in the world ready to show you how it's done.
Oh, man, I bet I could take on those And1 guys.
Are you serious, man? And what?
That's right. You see my skills?
Your skills? All right. If you're so sure of yourself, why don't you step on the court right now?
All right, dog, let's go.
So here we are in the main story here with the And1 Mixtape tour. They kind of start you out here in the side game here. It's just a one-on-one with a local street ball player there, and here we're playing Psy, and you can just see one-on-one is a little easier, obviously, than playing in pickup, but here we still have the And1 Mixtape rewinds as we get the +5, and we completed all of our goals right there. We actually end up losing this because we pretty much suck at the game, to be honest with you. It's a little bit to get used to, but a whole lot of fun. After you beat these side games, you have to win the game. So if I were to keep going, you would have to go back and beat him, and then move on to the open run and then the main run, and then you pretty much dominate each city. So let me know down in the comment section if you guys played this game back in the PS2 era. This was one of those games that was one of those indie games that ended up being pretty fun on the side. It was like one of those games that ended up blowing up because of the era that it was built in. Obviously, streetball died shortly after that, probably in about 2008. But you can just see, you know, there's some nostalgic things like slam ball coming back. That was around the same era as And1, and I'm glad to see the same rules still apply. Like I was pretty like apprehensive about kind of the slam ball coming back because I thought they would get rid of the physicality of the game, but they didn't. So let me know if you guys played this game, and make sure to check it out if you have an emulator, and we will check out more games like this. But this game is a whole lot of fun. I definitely recommend it. Hit subscribe, hit that like button. If you want more reviews like this and looking back at old games, stay tuned for more. Let's get it. Let's go.